Hey everyone, welcome to Crossroad Conversations with the Lewis Brothers, where we aim to share real stories about running a successful family business, working through adversity, and pouring back into the community that keeps our door open. We're your hosts, Matt, Shelby, and Taylor, and we bring you relevant local business advice and automotive insights that are sure to change the way you look at running a business, and maybe even throw in a plug for you to do business with us.
All right, NADA conference. Okay, let me set the setting for you. They meet in 4 different places. This year was in fabulous Las Vegas. It is in their main convention center. It's not theirs, but it's the Las Vegas Convention Center. Let me lay this out for you.
Tell them how big.
4.6 million square feet.
I knew we walked a lot.
Yeah, over 100,000 steps. So starts on Tuesday afternoon. So we get all our normal stuff done here, hop on plane, head out there, and kind of get set up for what we're going to do, what we're going to look at. So it's a Tuesday afternoon, full day Wednesday, full day Thursday, and then Friday's a wrap up there. So 4.6 million square foot of vendors set up. So what do you do? What's going on? Like, what's the point of this?
So let me take the square footage because that's what you said there. And there's a lot. And we've been fortunate enough to learn this from our father on structure and direction. So we had 8 people we took out there. We took a core group.
It's the largest
from every
we've
area.
ever taken.
Largest we've ever taken. And we had a mission. We went out there with a mission. And the 2 main things are the expo, which you just talked about. I saw that there were registered a little over 300 people on the expo, and I think it was probably more than that. And then the workshops. So the breakout workshops, you go to industry top speakers to talk about things like, we got to bring it up, AI, or managing inventory or word tracks or communicating with a customer or service or retention or HR. It goes on and on. So we met as a team before then. Here's what we're after. Here's our number 1. Here's our number 2. Here's our number 3. Here's how we're going to communicate before and after, and the texts are flying. And I think everybody thought we were joking when we said, just be prepared that you're going to look up at 4 or 5 o'clock and you've not eaten lunch.
And it happened every day.
Every single day.
Not a big deal, right?
Every single day.
Get you a banana or an apple on the way out the door bright and early. And it happens because generally everyone out there loves what they do. And I mean our team and the people selling the stuff, but also you are able, so picture this, if you are looking for a new software to manage inventory, a new software to do payroll, a new software to reduce downtime, if there's any software or hard product, it's there. And so you're able to go look at all of the competition under one or possibly a second Westworld rooftop. And so you don't have to set up a demo. You can literally walk into the booth and say, hey, your product, you've got 5 makes, give me a quick demo. And then you can quickly and politely just exit if you don't like it, right? Or at least that was my theory, right? And so I'd say, hey, talk to Matt real quick, and I'd just run to the next one, right? And so it allows you it would take months and months and months to get this type of experience and be in front of all these tools. And the good thing about it is you generally almost always have the CEO or the president or the founder of the company. You have the head engineer, like Roush Performance. Not only were all the salespeople and the head guys there, but one of the engineers was there. And I was like, why don't you install the supercharger from the factory? And he's like, well, let me talk you through this. I was like, well, Sherrod does it. SCA does it.
Fox does it.
And they're like, yeah. I was like, well, if they can figure it out, you should figure it out. And he was like, yeah, no. And then I was like, why don't you have a center console in your reg cap? And he's like, well, I was like, Aftermarket does it, and they source it from Ford parts. So you get to talk to all the people, which is, you could press 0 and say operator on your phone a million times and never get these people.
Hey, I got to give a tip for a convention before we because we're all wound up. We're back off of this. If you go to a conference, and just please listen up, because naturally you will not do this, and we're fortunate enough to be taught this. When you go to a conference and you've got a group of 2, 3, 4 people, split up.
Do not travel together. Like in the conference.
Yeah, in the conference. Now there were times on day 2, day 3 that both of us would have gone back to study something, but day 1, I was busting them up. Yeah. Like if I saw my employees together in the same booth, because there was too much. There was how many million square feet?
4.6 million square feet.
4.6 million square feet. So if we didn't split up to go through all these presentations, because if you'd let them, they'd last an hour. No, we cut people off before
Oh
then.
my gosh.
But split your group up. It's no different than if we go to an event and they've got lunch and they do a breakout session and they got all these round tables. Split up and don't sit at the same table. Gain knowledge from everywhere and then get back together and share all that. That's how we multiply. We took 8 people and destroyed that thing.
Yeah, it was so good. Tip number 2, take notes. Like when people were talking, I would stop them, and I had a Google Doc that's now 8 pages long, and I'd say, your name again? If it was something I liked,
Sure.
right? And it's okay to be direct, I think, right? But I was.
Yeah.
Your name again and your cell phone number if I directly need to get hold of you. Okay, and that product was how much? And is that a standalone product and is it month to month, right? And so I said, okay, carry on. So then maybe I just hit voice record and it starts recording them. And so for my notes, because you will not remember.
Yep.
So then when we would reconvene later that night or the next morning, I'd say, hey, you need to go to this booth and check this out.
see
Or in
this
our
guy.
text chain, you got to go see John. Like you've cut through all the crap. John's the point person. Go see them and ask them about this morsel. Don't ask about the whole thing because you just got to hyper focus. It's like you really got to see behind the curtains and all this stuff. No frills. There was plenty of frills, right? But if you got through it, then you could see that. So then within those notes, you could circle back. Because then when I got back to the store, it's like, okay, let me comb through all this, clean all this up, delete some of that, add this to it. So then I could go back to the people and say, hey, here's what I found. Here's the people you need to call back out to. Here's who you need to schedule a demo with. So kind of strategically be able to get your money's worth there.
And I think an important part there is, and you don't get access to that unless you go to a show like this, is, you know, if you're, let's just say you're the VP or you're the CEO of your business, you're looking for business partners. So you ought to be able to talk to that level of person to at least get all the details worked out, just like somebody would if they're doing a big deal with you. And yesterday I had a system we were interested in. Somebody else reach out from that company. I had the information just like you said because I had taken the notes, putting them down. Boom, I call him on the cell phone. I just get another text from him just a minute ago walking into here. Says, hey, our whole team can come, including myself. Here's the dates. The value in that is amazing.
And on top of that, the value of the people in your industry, whether you're brand new or you've been there for a while, of networking at this event is so large. And like generally we're pretty closed off, like introvert, not talking to people. And it was like, get out and talk to people, right? It's now your time to start pushing some weight and connecting. So the networking of anyone in the industry, now you're like industry influencers,
Sure.
all the social media people, they were all there. And the big wigs and the companies and these people that are making big moves, and anybody would talk to you.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Right? Like anyone would talk to you, whether they're selling something or not. So here's the funny thing. Let me set the stage so you're in this huge convention center, and everyone has to have a name tag that allows you in. And it says your name, where you're from, and then your title.
Yep.
So it kind of allows them to see what's your buying power, right? And you do set buying power within your credentials, and then it has an RFID chip that they can scan you. And so their goal is to scan as many people as they can, vendors, to be able to collect data. So when they get back, they can hit the phone and say, hey, Taylor, hey, Matt, hey, Shelby, we connected in Vegas. I'd like to schedule another demo. And so a lot of times what would happen is they'd come up to you and your name tag would flip over and they were like, who am I talking to? Do they have the ability of power? And so oftentimes, funny enough, you talk about Dad. Long ago, what would Uncle Tommy do?
So our uncle, who did not, now Dad was in the middle of it, just like we were talking about. Our uncle, and if you've met our Uncle Tommy, he would do one of two things. He either flipped his badge over because he didn't want anybody to talk to him.
Because you had to have it.
You had to have it. But then it would like flip back over somehow, some way. So he went back to registration and swapped out his badge for one that said spouse. Because he didn't want anybody to talk to him. And if that's you, great. You know what I mean? Just make sure with every yin, you got a yang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was working all the structure part of it.
And so of that, the structure was, okay, we're probably not going to eat all day. And we joked about that with our team of 8. We said there's going to be, if you need a snack, get a snack. But chances are a booth is going to have, about every 4 booths had
Maybe a cookie.
Had a cookie.
We were lucky.
They had coffee, right? But said you can get that. Don't go anywhere to lunch. Don't leave the campus.
Don't
Like
do it.
you only get a short window. Sometimes
Taylor, were you impressed with their food they had at the booths?
No, they weren't good at all, but that's okay. That's not what they specialize
So then
in.
we would challenge tailors like, hey, find and see if somebody has a dinner. Find a vendor that's interested in earning our business and see if they'll pay for our dinner.
Yeah.
Right? And so that was always the goal.
So let's talk about, like, I think some of y'all are going, man, that's fantastic. I wish they had that in my industry. Newsflash, they do.
They do.
I've seen every HVAC. I've seen plumbers.
Chances
I've
are
seen
it's in the
roofers.
same
I've
Vegas
seen
convention.
construction. I've seen electronics. I've seen aftermarket.
Yeah, funny enough, 4 of our customers before in the concrete world. So there's a concrete world show.
There's all
There's
of
an
them.
HVAC show. There's a CS. There's an electrical. There were 4 of them within the whole month that when we went the same month. So yes.
Well,
they
funny
have-
enough, we were walking, in Vegas, you should walk the whole way. And it seems just around the next corner.
It's
And it's
really
8 miles
close.
away. But we were walking from hotel to hotel. And they were like, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. And then because there's a lot of convention centers that aren't that size, but are still really large
Absolutely.
inside the resorts. And so we walked into another conference because it was a car audio
Oh,
conference.
yeah, Kicker was there.
Everyone was there, right? And you could hear it was like, good night, what's that?
I was like, see, y'all, I'm going
And
in
so we had
here.
our badges. Well, we used a couple of the other guys as decoys because we got
They
through
got
because
hung
we
up.
had badges, and they were like, "Whoa, you might be in the wrong conference." Heard that, and we just scattered.
I'll see
right?
ya.
So there is a conference for every single.
I think that's the point. And if you're sitting there going, I'm too busy and I can't go to that, you can't afford to not go to
Yeah.
it.
And that we would be the first to say that, right?
If you
'Cause-
guys know us, we are nose to the ground, grind it out. And we don't go, we've been a lot of times. We don't go every single year.
you kind of got to give it some time. Last year, they had a hard time because of the storms. It was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I don't know that people really wanted to go there, but then the storms and travel weren't good. So this year was completely sold out.
It was.
Your best to maybe like skip a year, skip 2 years, and then you can really hone in on all the things.
I love 2 things you talked about there. Like, we're talking about the vendors and we're talking about the event. There was over 20,000 dealers registered. And if each dealer, like we had 8, probably the
least had
average dealer had
2.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
You're talking about 40 to 50,000 people. They're all open, like Shelby said. One, you got the vendor world talking to you about things, but then you're connecting with like-minded people that, newsflash, are going through the same struggles you are.
That's the important part of the networking, to say, man, what are you guys using for your CRM, or what are you using for your website? I've just been struggling with this company.
Yeah.
And so I guess that leads into a little bit about, so before we went, we did a full breakdown of our systems that we currently have and had a huge eye opener because we kept asking the office. It gives a list of all of our payables, the people we pay money to that is a system. And we're talking about from the basic of the basic
Yep.
all the way to our DMS, which is not basic and very expensive.
Yep.
And it was eye-opening. It was close to $2 million a year that we spend.
It was nuts.
And
was
so
nuts.
it was good to do that before, so you don't go to the show and say, hey, I want to sign up for 6 more.
And I think we'll get to breaking down vendors here in a little bit of kind of like the filters we go through on when to cut, when to hire, when to bring new ones on, and when to sunset somebody.
So that was kind of a setup of just to make sure you were ready, so you fully know, because the last thing you want to do is walk into one of those and they say, if you're in the concrete and they say, hey, what kind of slump? Or, hey, where do you get your wire from? Or whatever it may be. HVAC, they say, hey, where are you sourcing your thermostats or your whatever, right? You need to know all those things. It might not be in your daily, what you go through, your routine, thank you, so that you're super educated going into it. Even if you just have your office say, hey, run these numbers for me.
So let's go around the room real quick, and don't do a deep dive on what it does, but just name off some systems you use, like what you use them for. So Taylor, let's start there.
My biggest is going to be obviously in CRM and our Viato, our appraisal management tool.
All right, so you at least got 2 there. You got a CRM, and then you got a Viato for your appraising. Okay. Then I'll go off of that. I'll say, hey, we got a website to show the vehicles. We've got somebody locally taking pictures that's and pushing it to Viato.
Yes.
So then we've got that as well. And then we've got our hub, which is the DMS, which is Dealership Management Solution, that then controls all of that. And I'm not even including in there, but I'll say it like our phone system, like our internet providers,
chat.
like our chat, and then you take it from there.
Yeah, so fixed ops, think about this for service. We have our write-up system,
Okay.
so the Smart and Y-Visor.
Yep.
And then we have our text communication platform of Numa.
Yep.
And then we have our shop loader, which organizes all of our technicians' times. And then we're going to get into Pencil Wrench to help write stories. Then we're going to get into the Snap-on catalog.
Yep.
Then we're going to get into... oh Lord, there's
So then from that, so we're at 14, and we have at least another 6 other partners that we use then
At
for
least.
advertising and marketing.
Oh yeah.
You know, and different. So we're at a minimum, and I'm just telling you, you have more than you think you do. We're at a minimum of 20 different providers. And some of y'all out there are going, "Holy cow, Matt, you're
Well-
too smart to not just combine some of those, cut those down." We've tried.
The problem is there's not one company that does it all, and if they do, they're not very good at a lot of those avenues.
Yeah.
You know, so you start cutting those up. You know, so you look at Deal Tracker, you look at Route One, you look at 700 Credit, look at NCC. Then those are all ones that we use, and then you start looking at Cuddle, and then you're like, okay, well those are those fashions there. So then you look at Credit Acceptance, and then you start looking at Stone Eagle. And then you start looking at Brown & Brown, and so then you have all these, and it's like, why do you have so
And then
much?
we're trying to extract the data, and none of the systems will talk to each other. So then we have a company like Fortellus, and then we've got another one called Target.
Then you've
that's
got
trying to
Four Eyes, and then they're
putting all this
trying
stuff
to talk.
together.
So you're trying to stay relevant and trying to be on the edge of like, okay, I have all these systems. I need the data so I can, you know, think about this. If you walked onto a very large ship or an airplane, like you've looked in the cockpit of an airplane, you'd be like, what in the world is all that, right?
Yeah.
So you have all that. That's super important of how do I get a hold of a customer, how do customers schedule an oil change, how do I appraise the vehicle, how do I get a deal approved, how do I know if this is good or bad? And then you have to somehow try to mesh some of those so you can operate functionability during your day.
You know, and I think one of the parts we jumped over, but man, you just rolled right into it, was really what was our goal on going there. And it's to try to get that to mesh together. We want a better customer experience, and we also want our employees to be better educated on where their customers are. So if you're setting an appointment in service and you filled it out online about like what's going on, we got to get that to communicate with our software we use to write up the repair order and that we use to communicate. If you're trying to buy a car and you go online and you do a credit app and you do a trade appraisal and you do all this stuff, we need it communicate with our internal system with our CRM.
Yep.
And a guy talked about it really well there. He goes, automotive and healthcare are so much alike. And this really resonated with me, and y'all have heard me already say this probably 100 times, but you go online for a appointment to go to the doctor. You upload your insurance card, you upload your driver's license, you fill out all the questionnaires and all the yes, no's and all the rest of it. You show up at the doctor's office, and I'm not picking on the doctor's office because ours is broken the same way. And when you walk in, they hand you a clipboard and they want you to fill it out.
Start back over.
And you're like, I already did all that.
Yep.
And then you get back to the doctor and the doctor says, tell me what's going on. And you've already filled it out online. You've already done it there. You've already told the nurse you're on number 4. And it's not a great customer experience. So our goal going out there was, how do we get these to communicate with one another so we have a more seamless transaction and communication with the customer?
And let me, the last bit on the launch of the convention. So of the 8 people that went and the thousands of different business pitches, let me explain something to you. Do not just start signing up for stuff. Did you guys sign up for anything?
Nothing.
Okay, so keep that in mind. We had 8 people that saw 1,000 different pitches and not one. And we did say this, but didn't have to say this. Do not sign up for anything while you're there. You have to let the new wear off a little bit, and you come back with your game plan, and then you completely decompress that and say, okay, you know, I sent this text yesterday to one of the managers, and it's funny, and I'll find it and read it here, but you have to do a little bit of analysis into, so I said, what problem does this solve? Are they the best at solving the problem? Is it a month-to-month contract? How much is the monthly expense? What's the setup cost? And this is the most important, are we already paying someone to do something like this?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So those were the questions that I asked one of the managers that said, hey, what information can I get y'all to get an approval so we can get the ball rolling on this new vendor?
That's good.
You know, so those were And that didn't happen. Like, you don't need to break that down while you're there. Just collect the data, get the information, and then you can re-go from there. So, and they were trying to sign you up, right?
Oh, for sure.
There were people giving away stuff
And
if
I don't
you
blame
signed
them.
up. Yeah, that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? But just, you don't have to sign up while you're there.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hey, thanks for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to give it a like, share it with your friends and family, visit our website, and send us some questions. We want to know what you'd like to hear, who you'd like to hear from, and what you want to see, or maybe even some questions for us to answer about either the automotive industry or just business in general.